Hello and welcome to Love Island The Morning After, the only official Love Island podcast.
Yes, whilst it's all fun and sexy games in the villa, it's also fun and sexy games on this pod, as myself, Indiyah Polack, is going to be joined this morning with the lovely Amy Hart and our weekly guest, Joe Bags.
Yeah.
Also, guys, we have a very special guest with us today. It is... Scott Thomas!
Scott, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
How do it like that?
Yeah.
I do.
Amazing.
Yay.
Right, let's do this.
You dirty devils.
We set her up.
Sorry.
We were meant to do it together. I'm too shy, guys.
Oh, blimey.
So, Scott, good morning, first of all. So nice to have you on the pod. We've had a great time watching you, but we want to get into some questions, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Let's do it.
So, how are you feeling now that you're back on UK soil?
Well, I've not been here for long, and I just don't even know what I'm feeling right now. It's just been an absolute whirlwind. Literally within an hour, I decided to leave the villa and I was pretty much gone. So I'm still like processing my decision, but it just felt right after obviously I spoke to all the Islanders and then coming back home, seeing everyone's reception and stuff. It's been like really nice. Because obviously you're really nervous, aren't you, in terms of how things have come across, how I was perceived and how kind of my exit was rolled out. So yeah, I feel relieved, man. I felt like it was the best probably end to my journey.
What made you decide to go back in the villa and do All Stars?
So I always wanted to go back and do an All-Stars. Like, obviously I did Series 2 and I kept watching all the different series. I was like, they need to do an All-Stars. Like, there were so many cool people that have been on there and I always wanted to do it. But then it got to a point I was like, all right, I think I'm too old now. And then obviously they asked me to do the first All-Stars and I was like, I'd love to, but I don't think I can do it. Then I watched it and I remember it was the night Craig David and Wes Nelson came in. And I just remember doing a story going, oh, I wish I did it. It looks so sick in there. So when I got the call the second time round, it was Coco, obviously, from production. Yeah. And she went, listen, Scott, I know we shouldn't even bother calling you. I know you said no all these years, but I'm just going to try one more time. And I just knew in my intuition, I went, I think I'm going to do it. And she went, what? I said, it's 90% no, but it's 10% yeah. She went, 10%? And then it just rolled out. And yeah, I just knew straight away. I was like, I just felt like it was the right time.
Yeah. After saying that, would you say it was what you expected?
No. It was a completely different show experience to when I was in there. It's moved on so much. Like, the drama was obviously quite high level in my series, but in this series, it just comes out of nowhere. It's relentless every single day. And it was just a completely different experience. I think the biggest difference was, on the first time I did it, I had this instant connection with someone. Mm-hmm. And that just makes the whole experience so much more different. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was a challenge. Just keeping up with everybody. I think it's a young man's game now. But I did my best. Yeah. I did my best.
Yeah.
It must be nice as well doing it this time around because obviously I know how close you are to all your family and like Scarlett must have had like the ultimate bragging rights at school.
Yeah.
Like my uncle's literally on Love Island. I saw her, she did like a little TikTok where she was like settling down to watch Love Island without my pal because he's in it. Like the person she watches Love Island with. Is it amazing for like all your nieces and nephews to be able to see you on there?
Yeah, 100%. Like my niece is 16 now and I've always been like the uncle. So I'm going to be cool again for the first time ever. And I spoke to her today and she was just like crying her eyes out and she just said, I've missed you so much. And it was kind of nice to have that feeling. But yeah, I think, obviously I've not done much TV. Like in the last few years, the boys are always doing different shows and stuff. So I think it was the first time she saw me on a show. But yeah, she was so proud of me. And I feel like I'm cool again.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Now, obviously, we saw how things were left off when you left the villa and things got a little bit heated between you and Elma. How would you say things are between you and her when you like really left? Did you guys manage to talk it out? And just how did it really end?
Yeah, so I feel a little bit sorry for Elma. I've seen a lot of like stick online and I just want to kind of reassure everyone that Elma wasn't the reason that I left. Mm-hmm. I don't think they showed it, but we had a big moment just before I left. Elma was like, I'm so sorry, Scott. I said, listen, Elma, it's got nothing to do with you. Like, it wasn't the drama why I left. It wasn't nothing to do with that. I can take the heat and everything else. And I know that she didn't mean anything bad by it. She was just being a girl's girl. And I really reassured of that. But I think for me, it was just got to the point where I couldn't see where I was going to go romantically. I tried my hardest with the connections I had. And I was just like, I just don't know where I'm going to go from here. So it was nothing to do with the argument. And I just want everybody to just still love Elma. She's amazing. And she was like one of my favourite girls in there as well. So nothing changes there.
Have you had any pangs of regret throughout your journey home or?
Originally, I was like, I just don't like quitting anything. But then I thought, you know what? It's not like a game show. It's a romance show, right?
Yeah.
So I just had to look at it in the right way. I fully backed my decision. I think what's my biggest regret? I think sometimes I openly trust people too like easily in there. And I think in there it's really hard because people take their moments in there sometimes. And I'm just such a pure-hearted guy that I just trust everyone. And I think that was my biggest thing where I went, you know what, Scott, you can't just give everything to everyone straight away. People got to earn that trust a little bit. And I think that's my only kind of lesson from the whole experience.
And obviously we know Love Island isn't just about romantic relationships, it's also about friendships. And we all saw the lovely friendship that you built with Luca. Did it kind of feel like a responsibility to kind of feel like Luca was looking up to you kind of in like a big brother way?
Yeah, me and Luca, I mean, I don't think you saw it. He was bantering me non-stop every day to the point where all the guys and girls are like, why don't you say anything? Why don't you take it? I can't really do like nice banter. Like, so I just, do you know, you just got a sense that like, he gives so much banter, but he's quite a little fragile soul as well. So I was like, I didn't want to give him too much banter back because I knew I might get a big bite back. So people didn't see, obviously, I know the Vegas night was a big moment, but that was just one snapshot of like a full week of like pure banter, which kind of escalated. But I love Luca. I've got a soft spot for him. He is like a little brother. But it was just such a challenging relationship because we didn't know each other's boundaries. As brothers, you know each other's boundaries. So I think the Vegas night kind of taught us both a lesson on where to go with each other, and we just kind of squashed it. But I've got so much love for him. He's got a big heart. I can't wait to link up with him in the real world.
Did you know him before?
I knew him briefly. Like my big brother met him, and my big brother like loved him. And then I met him at a couple of events. And when I see someone's got a good heart, before I went in, I said to him, I'll look after you in there and everything else. And so, we kind of knew each other briefly, but not too much.
Yeah. Talking to people you knew before, will you stay in touch with Indiyah or Tina?
Yeah, 100%. Like, Indiyah's a lovely girl, Tina as well. Like, I think with Indiyah, obviously, I've been friends with her for years. I think she's so sound. Nothing ended on bad terms. I know I felt so guilty that she went because of a decision that I was involved in. But at the end of the day, I didn't send her home and it was out of my hands. But I think she's so sound. I'll always stay friends with Indiyah. And I think with Tina, it's such a weird one because what I said in the villa stood. I would still date her in the real world, but I think in there it was just so much pressure all the time to know that you need to be like at this point with her and this and that. So 100%, I'll stay in touch with both of them.
In the real world, like you might go out for dinner with someone, then a couple of days later go to the cinema, then a couple of days later. It's like you're coupled up in a bed together, end of.
That's what I mean. And it's just so much pressure going, you should know where you're at with this girl, you know. And I was just like, I just couldn't get to that point with her in there. But I think obviously I'd love to stay friends with her. Whether or not it'll be anything more than that, I'm not sure.
You never picked anyone. The public put you with Indiyah and then Tina picked you. If you could have picked someone out of all the girls, take the boys out of it, take your friends out of it.
Oh my God.
Out of all the girls that have been in the villa this series, who would you have picked to couple up with?
If I'm honest, I think the public did me a favour, like, because those are the two girls that I probably would have fancied the most. I was buzzing when it was Indiyah at the start because I felt like she was the fittest in the villa for me. And then, Tina, like, we had a great connection, everything in there. As time went on, I was drawn to Elma because of her personality and everything else. Like, I thought she was mint, but I just don't know if it was like a sexual attraction. And Kaz was fit as well.
We thought Kaz wanted you at the beginning.
Yeah,
when she was like chasing you up to the terrace.
No, she did say that. She said I was in the top two, but she said you never really tried on with me. But I think I just know myself, right? And when I've got like two fiery characters together, we could clash.
Yeah.
So I try and keep it a bit of an arm's length.
Also, I feel like the kind of person you are, you're like, okay, the public have put me and Indiyah together, so I owe it to like us both to put as much into that as I can, like give it a really good go.
No, to be honest, it was nothing to do really with the public. It was more the fact that I always fancied Indiyah, but I never really thought she was on to me, if I'm honest. She always either had boyfriends, and I thought, well, this is a bit of a bonus. I'm going to try and pursue this.
She was a bit of a slow burn in the villa, though.
Yeah.
I feel like she wasn't also giving you much.
No, she wasn't. And to be fair, it's weird. I know I'm the guy, but I need someone to bring that little spice out in me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was after, what night was it? It was after the kissing challenge when I kissed her twice and I was really respectful in the kissing challenge, and she came over and she gave me a hug and everything. And so we started to get there, but then again, I just didn't feel like the next level with her.
Just before we get into the rest of the episode, who are your favourite couples?
Casey and Gabby.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
Agreed.
them two are so real in there. Like, you know when you just really respect their relationship? Like, no one, like, kind of gets involved. It's very private. So I feel like they're very real. And then, obviously, I like Luca and Grace together. Obviously, that was early days when I was in there. But Ronnie and Harriet could be a dark horse.
Oh.
He's genuinely in love with her.
My posh and Bex.
And I think she's in love with him as well, but she's still got this point to prove.
Yeah.
So, I think Casey and Gabby in, but I think Luca and Grace are getting stronger and stronger as well.
Only 2 weeks to go before the big finale, and the stakes in the villa are sky high. Thankfully, our islanders are staying cool in pre-loved fashion. Last week, heads were butting, romances were brewing, and I was living for the Vegas night looks. Me and the islanders couldn't get enough of Tina and Grace's stunning Zara and H&M with Moschino tops, which were the centre of all the chat during the romance roulette game. Clearly, Diamante is a girl's best friend, especially on a night like this. Later on in the week, we also saw Curtis and Ekin-Su adding some drama to their outfit that we were so here for in a classic House of Subi floral bell sleeve dress and a stussy old flower tee. We definitely know they slayed in Pre-Loved. Obsessed with the Villa action? Get the island look on eBay today. eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars. On the flip side of people who are forming connections, someone who has struggled to find a connection and has now sadly departed the villa is Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron.
I know we've just lost Scott, but it is my time. There's only so much that I can do sitting in the sun, just sort of staring at the door for the right person. I just don't know whether that right person is going to come in for me. So I am going to go tonight.
You love you.
It's time.
You're amazing. I'm so proud of you.
So, little toast.
Cheers to Ron.
Ron told the boys in the bedroom, I'm a very logical person and what chance is there of someone walking in for me? And Danielle told the girls, maybe he's not ready to meet someone. Do we think that's fair or is she just trying to cope with her own guilt?
I think Ron was ready to meet someone.
Yeah.
There just wasn't anyone in there for him.
Firstly, he's not a very logical person because there was bombshells coming in that night he left. So
Yeah.
he obviously is not very logical. I just think
until
he just
the
wanted to
bitter
go
end.
home. His
Yeah.
all-inclusive wristband ran out and
Yeah.
he was like, I'm going.
He had to pass it on to Danielle.
Yeah, I think Ron was ready to meet someone, but
Yeah.
I think he had a very specific type. It was almost like, because he's All-Stars, people have kind of got like a bit of a hit list of who they think's going to come in, and all of us were speculating all the way through, and none of them came in. So I think he had like a little target list, and none of them came in. So he was just like, right, I'm going to get off.
Like you said, All-Stars is kind of hard, because especially when you've been in there before. So second time around, you kind of know what you're looking for. So it's kind of tough.
But also, he was like me. He obviously had an amazing connection the first time round. So you're always going to compare it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's really tricky the second time round because you've got a comparison thing there.
He's also similar to you. He's comparing probably in his head to everyone else in there and thinking, well, these guys are so far on in their process that even if someone walked in now and was perfect, realistically, to the public as well, you're not really going to form that connection unless you go head over heels, like, with them.
He told Maya, the girls were amazing, but just not for me. Is there anyone we think it might have worked with?
I don't know. It's hard because he obviously needs someone that's a bit, I think, laid back as well and quite relaxed like he is. And I don't really know because a lot of the girls are quite fiery.
I obviously said this to Ron in there, so I'll say it to you guys as well. I just said I felt like he was holding out for Lana. He always denied this, by the way, so fair play to him. But I just felt like, because they obviously had a relationship and I think she broke up with him. He said it didn't really end very well and stuff. So I didn't know if he was coming for that unfinished business kind of like...
Oh, that's broken my heart.
I said this to him and he denied it to the brim. But I just felt like, did he want the second chance? I don't know. But he's such a lovely guy, man. And he's very mature. And I just think he just was very specific in what he wanted.
Do you think when Danielle came in, he saw the flash of blonde hair, he was like, she's hit him.
Oh, no, a bit too tall.
Okay, we also had the heart rate challenge.
It was...
No, Scott, you just missed out.
Oh,
You just missed out.
so grateful.
It was a big watch. I think we were all on the edge of our seats last night.
I think it was more of the heart attack challenge this year.
I almost burst a lung.
That was amazing TV. That's the first episode I've seen since I've been out, and I was like, this is a good show.
What a great one to watch.
Yeah, it was insane. Scott, if you were still in there, what would your outfit of choice be?
Oh, do you know what? I actually thought about this before I went in there. And I thought, obviously, because I've got my own business stuff, I thought I can imagine coming in as like a sexy businessman with like a briefcase, tie and yacht, and then rip it all off.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for Ronnie, though.
When he couldn't take his trousers off, I literally couldn't even look because it was so funny.
Ronnie's just created like two memes tonight. One of him pulling the trousers off and one of him when Harriet was walking here and the way he was walking.
I can't. That trouser pull was horrendous. Won't see him at Magic Mike anytime soon.
He looked like he nearly burst a vessel, didn't he? Just like...
Indiyah, you were obviously a sexy burlesque dancer.
Oh, I was.
Joe, what would you be?
Don't remind me.
I feel like there's a lot of sexy cats for girls, but no man is ever a sexy cat. And I feel like we need to just open the gender norms and break them for cats and have some sexy man cats.
You could come in like, Cats the Musical.
Save that for Curtis, okay?
Casey had on leopard pants, but I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
I would be like probably like a policewoman or like a builder or something, but as like a member of the village people and get them to put the YMCA on. I'd probably do like a party dance mega mix.
Nice.
I can't do sexy dance, so I'd have
sexy.
to. I can't
Can
do
I
sexy
just say,
dance. I have
no
to
one
do, like,
dances. And it's meant to be like heart race, like sexy dancing. Curtis is the only one that really pulled it out of the bag in that way.
Omar had some moves though.
Yeah,
He did, to be
moves.
fair.
He can move the
did.
hips.
Like everyone was like teasing each other.
Ekin-Su took it to a new level.
Ekins was insane.
I am so glad that I went out just before that because I don't know what I would have done.
We have that in common though because I left the villa,
Did you?
voluntarily the day before the heart rate challenge. And I remember I got in the car at Gatwick Airport and I was doing an interview and they said, last night was the heart rate challenge and this happened, and showed me a video. And they were like, how does that make you feel? And I was like, thank God I went home when I did, because if not, I would have had to have left dressed as a cheerleader or something. Because I'd have just cried and left.
The stars aligned.
Yeah, they did.
We also saw some other sexy dances. We had some sucking fingers from Grace and Harriet doing the splits. So
Many
all
times.
the girls were really getting into it.
Yeah.
Luca and Grace together, very hot. They came together as a couple. Do we think that this is it for them? Do we think the dance really sealed them in together as a couple?
Do you know what? I actually saw Luca be really kind of just chilled. I think a few weeks ago, if she was sucking other people's fingers and stuff, he wouldn't have liked it and probably would have reacted in some way. But tonight, I just saw him really calm, composed. He seemed at ease. I feel like they've gone past that point now where he feels really secure with her. So I think they're in a good place. I think it's going to be hard now for them two to be broken.
Yeah, I think it sealed the deal. I mean, I felt like I was interrupting something by watching it on TV. You know what I mean? It was very intimate.
Even Danielle said, guys, we are still here.
Yeah.
They have a tent up every night in their room. It's like they call it a circus tent in there. I don't know how he does it. It's up there all night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're I don't think it's his 2 legs or something, but I don't know what goes on in there.
Wait. No, I won't. Because his 2 legs are holding up the tent.
And what's holding up the middle
I
of the
don't know why.
tent?
You just look over to the bed. I even said to him, how do you do that? And he's just like,
Third leg.
Sammy, he had a kiss from Elma and he did say it was the best kiss that he'd ever had. So that was a bit of a nice, compliment to Elma and to
He
get her to go
lifted
up
her
a bit.
really high.
Yes.
It was legs over the shoulders. She said she thought she was going to go to space.
Do you think he could win again with Elma?
Oh, that would be greedy.
I just don't know if the age thing is an issue.
I did think that.
And I think they're great together, but I just don't know if that's going to be an issue long term.
I mean, Elma does seem quite young at heart.
Yeah.
And I think that issue was kind of raised in the villa and she didn't really mind.
So,
okay.
But they are amazing together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the headdress was back tonight.
Yes.
After 6 years of gathering dust in the cupboard, the headdress came back, the Madagascar.
How did it make you feel seeing Curtis tonight?
It was lovely to see his. I love the arts. I love a dance routine, and I thought it was great. It did make me laugh that he raised the most heart rates, obviously, out of the girls. And Ekin sort of very proudly said in the dressing room, guys, Curtis raised 6 of your heart rates, and Harriet shouted, "Yes, I was petrified."
Oh my God, that boy is just on another level. Every time there's any kind of dancing in the villa, we always just throw Curtis to the front, and he always delivered. But tonight, he took it to a new level.
Yeah.
I mean, they asked for more and then he gave more.
Yeah.
And there was some standing move that I'm probably not going to say what that's actually called on this podcast, but I can't believe that was on telly, to be honest with you.
They were kind of upside
Yes,
down.
2 numbers.
Yeah,
two
two
numbers.
numbers.
Standing 2 numbers.
It was a slide in on his knees, so that must have hurt.
Which must have killed. He kept throwing her like a burlap sack of potatoes onto the fire pit and then coming back for more.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
There's a video of Catherine jumping out of the way,
Yeah, so no wonder he got all the heart rates up. It was fight or flight at that point.
My heart was racing because I was like, I didn't know what to expect next.
Oh my.
You guys were all screaming.
Yeah, we were
Like,
screaming. So imagine what it was like to be in the villa
Yeah.
around that
Yeah.
fire pit.
Now, there was a bit of drama during the heart rate challenge, and that was with Elma and Ekin. Now, they are very close friends in the villa. Elma always says that Ekin and Catherine are her 2 closest friends. When they were getting ready for the challenge, Ekin said she was going to kiss the boys, and Elma said, well, no, you don't need to. That's not the game. You don't need to kiss them. And she said, don't worry, I won't kiss your man. I won't kiss Sammy. Lo and behold, she didn't kiss anyone except from Sammy. Do we think it was a harmless peck or was it disrespectful?
I honestly don't know with Ekin. I can't figure out if she's just a bit of a wind-up merchant or she just plays dumb. I genuinely can't figure out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of a wind-up. I don't know why.
I wouldn't say this, but some might say a potential bit of a power play because Sammy and Elma are in a very good place at the moment. Obviously, Curtis and Ekin have had a lot of ups and downs over the last few days, just to sort of show everyone I am still the queen bee of this villa.
The Ekin I saw tonight, I've not seen that Ekin the whole time I was in there. I felt like she was just in wind-up mode.
Yeah.
I think because she knew the heart rate challenge was coming. She takes on like a character, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And I think she was just
Well,
in
she
like...
did black out.
Yeah, she blacked out.
Allegedly blacked out.
Yeah.
And then when Elma called her out on all of her stuff, she just also couldn't process a lie quick enough. So she just went, which I kind of rate, that she just took it and said, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that does back up the point that she is a bit of a wind-up
But she
merchant.
had also lied on the terrace. All the girls had watched it from the terrace. Elma shouted down to Sammy, did she kiss you? And he said, yeah. So when she came on the terrace, and she said, did you kiss him? And she went, no.
I feel like she did it on purpose, but that's because she had a mission. And that was to do the heart rate challenge and to do it to the best of her abilities. It's also like when someone tells you not to do something, it makes you want to do it more.
Yeah.
Obviously, she knows that she doesn't like Sammy. So it's like, okay, Elma doesn't want me to get Sammy, so I'm going to do it anyway to wind her
Ask
up.
for forgiveness, not permission.
It's better to ask for forgiveness, which is what she did.
Yeah.
And no
Yeah.
permission. It's like, she doesn't like Sammy anyway, but if she can get on someone's nerves,
Yeah.
why not?
But then Elma did say, I shouldn't have to tell you to be considerate of my
'Cause they're
feelings
mates.
if you're my friend.
But yeah, ultimately, I mean, Ekin did apologise, which was, maybe
Incredible
they'll move
apology.
on. Yeah, sorry.
She said, I'm sorry if your feelings are hurt.
Someone else who was also quite upset by the heart rate challenge was Gabby. Now, she was upset that Casey's heart didn't beat the fastest for her. Is that quite understandable, or do you think it's not that deep?
I feel like Gabby openly says that obviously because of past relationships, she needs a lot of reassurance. And she said that to Casey and then when we're in there. Why don't you comment on how hot I look tonight or anything like that? And Casey was like, I'm just learning that obviously you need that reassurance. So she's quite honest and open about that. So I think it was one of those occasions where Casey just needed to big her up. And maybe you should have gassed her up a little bit more, but...
Yeah.
With situations like this, I think that it's only because she cares so much. And so I think that as a viewer, you kind of deep it and you're like, oh my God, is there a problem with their relationship? But she just brings something up to be like, I care about you that much that this kind of upset me.
100%.
But it's like not detrimental to them as a couple or, you know what I mean, their connection. So, but I do get it from her side because also, as you said, it's very like an intimate time in there and it's very fast paced. And I guess that on the outside wouldn't have been, I mean, you wouldn't be doing that on the outside anyway.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's just elevated, isn't it? The emotions are heightened a little bit more than they typically would be. So,
Especially after they had a very nice night in the hideaway.
Yes.
well, which we found out tonight because heart rates were raised before.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all we're going to say on that.
Talking of heart rates being raised in bed, Catherine and Omar, we caught them snogging tonight.
Yes, we did.
Catherine's first in-bed snog. Woo!
Oh, I'm buzzing for them.
Congratulations. Do we think they are a hot new couple? Do we think they're going to go the distance? Do we think any bombshells could turn their heads?
So far, the fire is burning. They both seem to be very interested in each other. The heart rate challenge was a success. And Catherine was very chuffed the next morning about their kiss. So I don't have any bad words to say at the moment. It's going good and let's just keep it going good.
Yeah, I feel like I think they're very well matched. I think Omar's a specimen of a man. I think Catherine looks very happy. But like you said, it's just too early doors yet. Like Omar's come in there. And I think when you first come in, you still wanting to make the most of the Love Island experience. You don't know what's around the corner yet. But it's definitely moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
But two people who could break up this new love affair are Chugs and Sammy, who are coming in tonight. Very excited to see them. So just to recap, Chugs, so he is from Series 7. So he's been single since he left the show in winter 2021. And he is mates with Casey.
Okay.
So probably won't go for Gabby, maybe.
I
And
hope
then
not.
we've got Sammy Alicia. She is 25. She was on Series 9, famously with Tom Clare. They had quite a nice relationship. Obviously, Tom, best friends with Casey. So probably won't go for him. But she said she's got her eye on Luca. Do we think any couples could be rocked by the entry of these two?
So I feel like Sammy could be a little test for Luca. I think she was in his top 3 or something of who we wanted to see in there. But I do think him and Grace are at a really strong place now. But I know that she was in his top 3. So that will be interesting to see how that unfolds. Not even just Luca, Sammy's hot. So she's going to turn a lot of the heads. I think out of all the bombshells that have gone in there so far, she's the one that could rustle a few feathers.
Good laugh as well.
Yeah.
Which feel like sometimes the villa misses, you know what I mean? When you get complacent in those couples, you kind of want to have a laugh with someone. But potential storyline change, she comes in and she steals Luca. And then Grace is like, okay, well, I'm just going to go get Omar. And then, I don't know, I'm just throwing something out there.
I'm telling you now, of all the bombshells that have gone in there, she's the one that's going to mix up the most, I reckon.
Oh, I love that.
It's all about timing though, isn't it? I think if she'd gone in a week ago, it would have been a very different story.
Yeah.
But it's all stars, and I think people are in there to take risks. Me over the tunnel in the villa. Take some risks. So I think maybe, who knows?
And
Who
then
knows?
Chugs, he might go for Tina or Danielle.
Oh,
The two single girls,
Actually, I think so.
No, but you know what? I actually just said them two just off the cuff anyway.
He might know Tina because he's mates with Casey. He might live in Chelsea, so he might know Tina.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
It's Amy knowing where everyone lives.
Yeah.
But trying not to make it sound like she's stalking everyone.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
I could have been a doctor, a lawyer, but instead I know a hell of a lot about Love Island. Well, in the words of Ron, we don't like to beat our own bush, but this podcast has been iconic.
It has. Scott, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's been amazing. And you guys can catch us on YouTube, your favourite podcast provider app, and ITV app.
See you in the morning.
Bye.